Okay, it's the meeting of the Board of Public Works. It's Monday, November 13th, 2023. It's at the DPW meeting room, 965 Plain Street, being recorded by CTV. We have appointment 6:15, Eagle Scout Project, Lagoon Cemetery. 6:30, Laurie Haley, Agricultural Commission. Action items, number 1, award road sand bid. Number 2, contract 2024-02, water materials and supplies. Number 3, contract amendment 2021-05, engineering service, Brent Rock Seawall, maintenance, repairs, various locations. Number 4, transfer station, waste oil site for the fishermen. Superintendent's report. Our next meeting is scheduled November 27, 2023. That could be subject to change. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So, I think we could take the Eagle Scout. We were early, but it's fine.
John, this is J.D. Armstrong, Eagle Scout, preparing for the Eagle Scout,
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
and you can fill you in on the project.
Yeah, my name is J.D. Armstrong. I'm part of Pier 21, and I would like to restore the Lagoon Cemetery for my Eagle project. I already met with the Conservation Commission and got their approval and a letter from the Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program, and it's just overgrown cemetery. It was established in 1838 and hasn't been touched in over at least 50 years. And what I'm asking for you guys is obviously approval, and I need approval for like laydown areas and shit for like piles that we get set up. And yeah, for my plan, I'd like to cut down any trees that are within 6 to 8 inches in diameter, and get rid of all the brush and hopefully get some light into the cemetery. And yeah.
The dead tree?
There's a number of dead trees that are rotted like on the inside that can be knocked over. I need approval for you guys to take them down because we don't want that in the cemetery. I also need to ask you about the dig safe, if there's any like safety approvals we need for the younger scouts or like those tools that we're gonna handle.
So I'm Dad, Jason Armstrong, 186 Union Street. I'm here to support my son JD.
Good job.
It's only a couple times he's been in front of a group of people, so I'm trying to.
That's pretty hard to do.
This is all part of the leadership, and I'm also the Eagle Scout advisor for Troop 101 in Marshfield, which we're part of. His plan is. Do you mind, JD?
No, yeah.
So his plan at 80 Union Street, the cemetery is overgrown, hasn't been maintained in a long time. He does turn 18 in March, so he ages out relatively quickly. He wants to reset all the headstones, take some of the a lot of the brush that's on there. He has pictures in his book. I didn't know if there was a way to do anything with a projector or anything, but the cemetery.
I'd like to see them if you don't mind.
Yeah, can you show them the? And I didn't know if we're supposed to approach and stand or. So that's it. His idea is just to clean up. There's a lot of really large 30+ inch pines that have grown up over the years. The scope of his project won't really touch those, but anything 6 to 8 inches in diameter, he wants to take some of those down and all the brush. I mean, there's some fallen pine trees that are there. So we believe, since it's town-owned property, After the meeting with the National Heritage,
This gallery of photos, and then there's the measurements.
National Heritage and the Conservation Commission, we believe the DPW will be the final beneficiary that can sign off and say that the project can go ahead. Because this still needs to be approved through the Boy Scout Council as an appropriate Eagle project.
Okay, so, looks like you need to work with our staff, which Sean is, I believe, more than happy to provide anything. If you can add to it, Sean, what would you?
I would, I'll take care of the dig safe for him. And you pile up all the brush on the edge of the road, we'll pick it up. Does that work for you?
Awesome. Another question about the driveway,
Sure.
because it's pretty rough.
I've been down there, it's
Alright.
rough shape. We can smooth it up for you.
And then
We'll
there's
help you
another-
out. It's a great project.
Sweet, thank you.
You want one?
I have a comment.
Go ahead. Thank you.
I think there's a limitation, or I would like to see the birch trees be left alone.
Oh,
So if there's young birch trees, those should stay,
all right.
if possible.
A lot of
How many
the,
birch trees are supposed to be cut?
a lot of the, there's a lot of smaller pines, and we're talking inch diameter that are growing at the base where there's a stone wall around the base of the hill that the cemetery's on. And a lot of those pine trees are pushing out some of the stonework that's basically retaining the hill. And we're gonna try and get rid of that smaller stuff and be able to push and re-secure some of the stonework.
I don't know if the environment supports birch trees or not, but those.
Yeah, we do.
No, like the environment there, I don't know if birch trees.
There's a couple.
are there. There,
Just a
yeah,
couple.
those should be left.
So,
So
I think,
Can I speak for a
go ahead,
second?
go ahead.
Yeah.
So there's actually a structure back there that the town owns, and as part of our budget, we have money to tear that down. So we have to provide some access to get all the way back there. So we can kind of lump in, we can do the access improvements. I've already talked to the Conservation Commission, and they understand that we have to get back there. So we can do that probably under our project. It's just timing, we gotta get it going quickly. If we
One
gotta
of
get
my
it done by
questions
March.
to the young man is, when do you want to start this?
As soon as possible, I have all the other approvals. Once I go through DPW, I need to get, I need to propose for Eagle, like through what DSA.
The council needs to approve the project.
Yep.
We're on the planning stages right now, and once, we basically need we believe the DPW is gonna be the beneficiary, and that we do have something that we'd love to get signed tonight, but if it happens to happen later, that's fine too. But he does have a couple pages that just talks about working with an Eagle project as the beneficiary, and what you can expect. But if we have this all done, he can submit the approval to council within a week and hopefully be approved very quickly.
Okay. I just want to know so we can get the road touched up for you, and like I said, you cut down the brush and the trees, we'll pick it up, and I'll call the dig safe in, and if I remember correctly, that house out back that Ken was talking about, we bought that as a watershed,
Right.
back when I was here before.
Yeah, it's for
So we do own
protection.
that property back there.
Yes.
All right, the other in the budget,
John,
yeah.
there's a standing dead tree about 40 feet tall, close proximity to the monument there. That would have to come down, and, you know,
We'll help them.
okay. It's just about had it.
Okay. I'm just going to get your number and your name.
My number is 339 933 1541.
And your first name?
Jason.
Jason. Okay.
Did you have something you wanted us to look at to sign? I don't know
We
what it is.
do if it sounds like the project could go ahead through the DPW.
I don't see a problem.
And John, you're the tree warden anyhow.
I am.
Yeah, I know, so. Screw you, you know.
That, the other two
We'll
pages
have
too.
Diane look at it first, and if it's something we can sign, we'll sign it, I guess.
Am I still in health here?
Wait,
I still in health? Right.
And we didn't know if Dig Safe should be notified, but Boy Scouts is very safety conscious, and we didn't want that to be a holdup when he starts submitting everything.
Won't hurt to do it. They'll have it done in 72 hours usually.
His promise, unit leader's approval, they have to sign that, beneficiary approval, the
Can-
service.
Can you show where the beneficiary?
Yeah, I see it. This service project will provide significant benefit, and we will do all we can to see it through. We realize funding on our part is not required, but we have informed the scout of the financial support, if any, to which we have agreed. So you both, Sean and Ken, you both talked about that. We understand any fundraising the scout conducts will be in our name, and that funds left over will come to us if we are allowed to accept them. We will provide receipts to donors as required.
And that's all
I
of
mean,
us.
you're not doing fundraising to provide, to give money to the DPW, I assume. We're the beneficiaries because the property is gonna be improved.
He
Well,
might,
you could.
he might do some small fundraising. If it's donations from family and friends, it doesn't count as fundraising, so we might go that route with time constraints. But he would like to do either like a stone sign at the base of the cemetery or out by the street on Union Street. We've already been working with a stone carver that might be able to come up with something for that.
Right, that says it's an Eagle Scout project.
Or even just Magoon Cemetery in
Okay.
the established year.
Don't they usually put those, that it's an Eagle Scout project on things like that?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you did from the tree point or something.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be,
That's fine.
do you think that would be nice?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. I don't know, if you want to look, I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
you read it, so, you know. Yeah, I'm okay with this.
There's no other questions, right?
You all right, Sean? You all right, Ken? You ready? You want to sign?
Yeah, I'll sign
Okay. Where would you like us to sign? Right? Sign right here?
Oh, yeah, we should make a motion.
Yeah, beneficiary?
So,
Okay.
so I'll make a motion to accept the Eagle Scout project
Second.
for the Gum Cemetery.
I'll second.
Okay, aye.
All in favor, aye. Okay.
Easy peasy.
We want to get a copy of that. Jason, you give us a copy of that? You- At some point in time, before we start?
I don't think we both need this one. Has provided a copy of the navigating the Eagle Scout, yes, this is for us
Yeah,
to keep.
there's a little box to
Okay,
check
so-
on there.
Yes, check yes. And then, oh yeah, print your name. So
And then-
tiny.
And then it's everybody else in the troop and council goes from here to approve it. to
Perfect.
Basically give them the go-ahead.
So that's for us to keep.
Yes.
Right here. Okay, all right, I guess that's it, I guess. We don't both need to sign, it's just the chairman.
Thank you. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you.
Mrs. Fritz. Oh, gosh.
Okay. We are all set, are you set? Anything else you'd like?
JD, you all set?
I'm all set, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great idea.
Sir, will you be giving them a call at some point?
I will.
All right, I appreciate it, thank you.
And I'll tell you what, I haven't got any cards yet, but I'll write down a piece of paper, my number.
Okay. Yeah, there's pictures of it all open 75 years ago. Yeah. Now it's overgrown.
Only 6:15.
70, 100 years
Why don't we go on to,
That's it.
more on the road?
Yeah. Do you have a picture of the?
Okay, so we're gonna move
It's
on
in
to
your
the,
No,
is it?
I thought you watched it.
You left it with the conservation last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show me a picture of it. Big office, I want to show you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Gee.
You're welcome. Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You did want to show you a picture of what it used to look like.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
There's the open area,
Oh, wow.
it's like all open area.
Mhm.
All those trees now are like only 70 to 100 years old.
So who's buried there?
There's only 3 families, Sherlock, Lagoon, and
Holmes.
Holmes, yeah. And there's only 12 place ones.
Oh, wow.
Can I see that picture?
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually a crypt under there, which we didn't realize either. We haven't been in it yet.
Wow.
Are you a little scared, just a little?
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did you take that picture, Ryan?
I didn't see. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Very cool.
I don't
Yep.
know. Maybe. So was our,
Yeah, it's good. I don't think so.
no.
So we'll just move on, wait, when Laurie's gonna be here at 6:30. We have to award the road sand bid that you, okay. No documents.
I haven't done anything.
I didn't put it on there.
I didn't either.
Karen Anderson had asked to be put on, John,
Oh, Karen's okay, he's certainly okay.
Yeah. from the highway. She wanted it put on the agenda to be signed.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was from the consortium? Was that where we got it from? Or did she have it
She
right?
scanned it to me. But,
It's probably not the custodian bid.
oh, yeah, because, yeah.
She went up to knee
yeah.
surgery last week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Plymouth County Regional Sand Bid.
Bullock County.
Want to sign it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you
in the
want to sign
binder.
it.
It's in the binder.
Oh, yeah, just now.
Well,
While he's doing that, I had a message today from a resident asking, about crosswalks being painted at Ocean, on Ocean at 11 in Billings.
Yeah?
Are those gonna be done? Is that crosswalk gonna be done, or are they done
When do
painting?
you
No,
go?
wait.
Crosswalk,
It should be done pretty soon.
so it will be done?
Is that the curb cut too?
Yeah, they put the,
Yeah,
brick,
yeah.
just gonna put the white march on the side.
Okay, so it'll get painted, okay.
Well, you should think of this.
I got a message today about it.
Okay, we're gonna go on to contract 2024-02, water materials.
And I have that one.
Yeah,
Thanks.
And
you
you,
know what, Ann, this thing's in there.
So just the background on this one, we go out to bid
should motion on the same.
for water materials and supplies. And the idea is just so that when we need something, we already have an agreed upon price. So when we're scurrying at the last minute to get stuff, we don't have to look around. So we went out 3 years ago with this, we extended it to get through the 3-year term, and we're back at it. So we went out to bid. It's always a 1-year term, renewable for 2 more to get up to 3. The period for this one would be from December 12th of this year, 1-year contract in 2024, and then 2 annual renewals after that, if we want to. As in the past, when we submit this, we have a whole bunch of parts that we're looking for. So some vendors bid on some parts, some vendors bid on other parts. We go through and basically call out all the lowest priced parts. We've used all these vendors before, so they're all ones that we're familiar with: Ferguson, EJ Prescott, Stiles, TI Sales, and Remington Gas. So our staff recommendation is that we go ahead and we award this for the lowest bid for the specific materials that were bid upon.
And you, when you see the supplies, different parts, do you check the price against, go online and check it?
Yeah,
I've seen
well-
some of the prices, and they were high. Remember last time we did this, I saw some of the prices for couplings and things like that, and they were very, very high compared to what I thought, the preferred.
Yeah, and for the most part, we didn't see like one bid on anything. It would be multiple vendors bidding on, so we had a choice to pick the lowest. It wasn't just by default.
Yeah, I understand, but were any of them,
Some of them were hot, some of
I mean,
them.
were they high, all three?
No, I think there was usually a low bidder, a distinctive.
Well,
bidder.
yeah.
No, but I mean, it was distinctive, because it was surprising where somebody was bidding one price and somebody else was like
Yeah.
significantly lower, and you're like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we just do that?
Yeah. All right, so you vetted it out, I'm okay with this. Okay.
You can make a motion to accept, so I'm gonna have to do the same thing.
Sure. Authorize execution of contract number 2024-02, water materials and supply to Ferguson, EJ Westcott, Wrightington, Gas, Stiles, and Tie Sales based on their lowest bid for specific materials from December 12, 2023 to December 11, 2024, and authorize the chairman or designee to execute the contract when it has been prepared.
Second.
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor? Aye.
Can I get the same thing with the sand?
Sure.
There is.
It's in here somewhere, right?
There is a motion there. Okay.
Yeah, the motion.
For the sand? I don't know,
Second
who's standing
page,
here?
Diane. Second
Oh, I missed it?
page.
I should say Plymouth County.
I would like to make a motion.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I skipped right by that. I would like to make a motion that the Board of Public Works accepts the bid from G. Lopes Construction, Inc. for the sand contract of $17.48 for a ton. Is everyone in favor?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so there you go.
You want to go to Laurie now? Who's this?
Do you have a,
We do not have it set up yet for the,
okay, did you get the handout I sent then?
I didn't know.
I didn't get any.
And I sent it again with it.
You sent it to everyone, or?
I don't have
Just
everybody's.
John? Okay.
I sent it to Mary Ann.
Yeah, Marie.
we just had our email flipped over.
Yeah, Laurie, I've been trying to send you emails.
And I sent some back that I got your email.
I haven't gotten anything.
Check your spam. I did see a lot of my stuff ends up in spam. All right, I'll do the best I
Yeah,
can here.
go ahead, Laurie.
Yeah.
Let me just- So, I'm gonna do it so you two can see.
Okay.
All right. So,
You want a chair? Or get you a chair?
Generating?
right, so I'm gonna go through the slides fairly quickly because we have had some past discussion on this. But stop me at any time if you've got questions or need some more information. So, brief background, in, I believe it was March 27th, the Board of Public Works approved charging for manure commercial manure to be dumped at the transfer station beginning on May 1st. In April, we were alerted to this by horse owners, and we were able to meet with the horse owners from all around town, and we then presented to the Board of Public Works at the end of May, requesting a moratorium or waiving of the fees. And what came out of that meeting was, okay, we're gonna lift them for 6 months. We'd like you to create a team to work and figure out how to make this better and figure out what works for everybody. So the team is comprised of Ken, myself, Delia DeLongchamp, which is another AgCom member, and then some members from the community, a horse owner and a steer owner. 2 steer owners actually came at different times. And then for one of the meetings, Sean came and John Cusick came to one. The process was we established some ground rules, we went over all the stakeholders' needs and desires. We reviewed the site, the processes, what was working, what wasn't working, how the composting is done per documentation. And then we went through a little research about other towns nearby. And then went through some ideas about what needed to be done. The number one thing that came out of all this is we can't do anything until we reach that $6,000 load at the transfer station. So we have the space to do anything else, and anything else we try to come up with is moot. So we decided we needed to present to the DPW so that something could happen. So that's what we're doing tonight here. We're presenting what the team came up with. Almost everything in there, it needs to have some level of approval or someone that hit the button to say go. It's not something we could do all on our own. So the basic plan is, first, reduce that load. Second, come up with a model where outputs are greater than or equal to the inputs so that we don't return to the state. And then there's some other options, like does it make sense to make a better compost product, and what's a good long-term plan? But we're not going to work on those quite yet. We have them all in the back of our head and we've got things rolling, but we're really working on how do we reduce the backlog. It is time sensitive what we're asking for tonight, because in the winter nobody wants compost. You're not going to spray compost in your yard in the winter. And you're going to have a lot of inputs and no outputs only. And I understand the leaf collection and yard waste is either coming up or it's already happening. So we put together a number of ideas. We went through some pros, some cons, what the hurdles were to those items, and some possible solutions. It's going to be pretty hard for you to see this, but, and I don't want to go through every little detail, but I'll just tell you that we talked about resident takers. There's a lot of residents, but they don't take much because you have to shovel it yourself. We talked about resident and community members who want more than what they can shovel. But the problem is that DPW can't load things into personal vehicles. So if someone came with their pickup truck and say wanted a whole load in there, we can't do that because there's a risk of damaging their springs or their shocks, things like that. So we thought about what are some ways we can get over that hurdle. One was, all right, maybe we create a day and we deliver it to, say, a church parking lot, and people can take it that way. We talked about making a pile outside of the transfer station, which we had done, Ken has done. The problem is it needs more awareness. It's not really going anywhere. It needs better signage. We made some suggestions, put it on the website, make a big sign somewhere, add a note to the bottom of the trash and water bills. Trash bills just came out, I didn't see any note on there. So I understand there's some hurdles for getting a note put on the bill or slipped in with it. But now we're have to wait another 6 months before we can get that one going. Another idea we had was create a day for local commercial construction companies like Piagini or Cobra or these other ones, where anything we put into their trucks from that compost pile is free, and they charge just a delivery fee to the residents, and we make a big deal out of it, so residents sign up directly with these contractors. They're getting the material for free, all they're paying for is a delivery fee, which means we don't have to deal with delivering stuff. We just only have to deal with commercial vehicles coming in, and if it's a planned event, you know, you just get them in and dump them. You have somebody there to load up the trucks and have it pre-planned, and, you know, each one could be making 10 trips that day and delivering whatever needed to be delivered. It's kind of a win-win for everybody because the contractors get all the delivery fees, we get rid of all the material, and the homeowners all get the free compost. So that's our kind of our biggest plan. We said the town should be using it. They could fertilize lawns, town hall, schools, sports fields, cemeteries, green spaces. I think one of the issues there is, what are you going to spread it with? You need a spreader. You don't dump it. It needs to be spread thin. So you need some manpower and possibly some machinery. It's also a seasonal issue because you want to do that in the spring and the fall, not right when it's a sports field. You don't want to do it right before they're having their finals or something, you know. But the good news is, because it's organic material, you're saving on fertilizer, and two, you have much less risk of nitrogen runoff. You know, it's going to work itself right into the soil, and it should be a pretty good item. Could save you money on fertilizer in the fields. I had another idea. There's a farmer at Mounce's Meadow. You know, Mounce's Meadow, it's over there on Union Street, 7 acres. About 6 of it is in use by a farmer. If you would take a large quantity, you just dump it. He spreads it. He tills it into the soil. So now it's not going to have a runoff problem. It's going to increase the value of the soil. All you've got to do is dump it. But you've got to get him to agree to that. And we probably have to talk to conservation. So that was another idea. Again, that's timing restricted, but I'm thinking maybe we can do it in the winter when the ground is really frozen hard, so the trucks can get in there when it's not snowing and dump it for him, which makes it easier for the trucks, because in a regular spring or fall season when you normally spread this, you can't get in there with big trucks. You get stuck in the mud. Just the way that soil is there. We also thought, why don't we get commercial landscapers to take this? We actually had one lined up within 24 hours, but there was some issues with regards to the he's out of town, he doesn't have a dump sticker, can you come in and get this? How do we schedule it? Who can operate the machinery? So we said, okay, that's a bunch of hurdles that DPW needs to come up with solutions. That's not something AgCom or the general resident can come up with a solution, but we are more than happy to help you try to find these outside commercial landscapers who are willing to take, a big triaxle load of compost. So the other idea was like really big landscape companies like Smith and Sons, J.F. Price, D&D Mulch, Go Green. Would they take some to add to their mixes so that when they deliver 50-50 mix, compost and loam, that maybe they're using our stuff. Maybe, if they're getting it for free, they might be really happy. There are some issues where we don't know what the pH is of this compost. We haven't done any testing. Some testing we're not sure we want to do because it might tell us something we don't want to know. But I think pH, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Yeah. Those are very basic. There's nothing in there that's going to tell you that it's really horrible. And that's something that would help a farmer or a landscape company know what to do with it, whether they have to add some lime to it or not, whether the nitrogen levels are really low or really high. It helps them how they're going to market it. The last option, which many of us are crazy about, is to pay to remove it. So that's just out there as something that we have to. So the AgCom has sent a letter to stable owners requesting their help this winter because we're coming up right to the period where most of the items, most of the compostables going into the transfer station is going to be manure. So we need to keep that to a minimum if possible. So some things that help. If you're using sawdust, pelleted straw, or pelleted wood, shredded newspaper, those things compost much faster and take up much less volume than the larger wood shavings that a lot of horse stables use. So that's a suggestion if they can do it. Some already do this, so that's not going to help much, but we want to make sure everyone knew about it, including the homeowners, because every bit helps. Cleaning carefully, like if I have a horse who's kind of messy, and if I pick his stall an extra time a day, I clean it in the morning and I pick it in the evening, even though he's only been in for an hour, I can save about 20% on bedding. So that's 20% isn't going into your pile. So that's another recommendation to help remove less. We are asking that they be very courteous to the staff at the transfer station because things are tough all around and we want to build goodwill. And we're recommending the 3 big farms work with Farmer Brett, which I'll let you know about here in a moment. So Farmer Brett is a new farmer in Duxbury. He is building a regenerational farm and permaculture spot. He actually needs some manure with bedding, and he likes it to be some of it big bedding, the big flakes, and some of it the little stuff, because it composts at different rates, and that helps him in his big picture plan. I talked to him. He will accept 1 dump trailer load per week, starting in January, until he's kind of full up with his plants. But we were thinking this could help reduce what goes into the transfer station. It's kind of a free solution. And if we rotate between the three big farms, who goes, it helps him out with getting a variety of the mixed materials, and it kind of spreads out the extra trip, because it is Duxbury instead of Marshfield, having the trailer too. The farmers can work directly with Brett, which should make it a little easier. They're just asking that if the barn gets wormed, that particular week right after it, the manure does not go to him, because he is trying to be an organic farm, and that reduces the chemical load in his soil. So basically what the AgCom is requesting tonight is an extension of the waiver of fees. I'm asking for it through the end of June, because you can't really distribute compost January through March or April. So it's going to be very difficult to move those piles, and it's going to take some time to figure out all the details for the DPW. I want to give them time to get it all figured out, and we will help in any way we can. So I'd like to extend the moratorium, to have the manure team continue meeting to come up with ideas and kind of help in any way we can continue this moving. Have some of the manure go to Brett, and then I'd like to reconvene with the BPW in the late spring to go over how it's going. Hopefully we have a successful, we're thinking end of May day to really get a big move on items out of the transfer station, and then go over some next steps. Do you have any questions?
Have you reached out to the contractors, any contractors?
Actually, I talked to Sean, and Sean was gonna reach out because he knows them personally.
Oh, perfect.
I wanted to wait until we had this meeting to finish before I did anything.
Yeah.
But I think Ken has a lot to add as well.
Okay.
I agree with what Lori's presented today. I think we've had a lot of meetings, we've had a lot of discussion. I think we've come up with some good ideas, and I think we have more time. So I am in support of pushing the moratorium out through the end of June.
Do we need so we can get that over with, we'll make a motion to increase the moratorium until the end of June 2024. All those in favor? Aye. So now that part's over.
Okay.
So Ken, do you have any more suggestions?
No, I mean, we're going to continue.
You're all gonna work together.
We're going to continue to meet, yeah.
That's good.
Maybe we've already solved the problem with that one trailer.
That helps. Everything's huge. Every little bit helps.
Just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
So, we'll meet sometime in May, or thereabouts, or before if you need.
Yeah, if we can.
Send me an email so I make sure we're getting your emails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that might,
We
yeah, that
changed
might
over our
happen.
system now.
It's a disaster right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've had issues.
Okay, well, I'll send this out,
Okay.
the PDF of this to you, and if you can distribute it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
If I don't respond back, I'll let you know when I get it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, that finishes the first two. Where are we here? Yeah.
These are two contracts.
Is that your Rod, contract number 2021-01?
Yes, it is.
All right, go right ahead.
Okay, so we had a lot of damage resulting from the 2018 storm. There are three areas where there is revetment damage that we haven't repaired yet. The last work we did, and we finished it in May, was repair of the seawall in the area along Ocean Street on the high road from like number 4 to 96. We did various face repair on the seawall, it was maintenance, basically. Cap repair here and there. It was more of a safety issue, you know, in terms of what we were shooting for. The wall needs to be replaced, and we need to figure out the height and all that. I know some of them don't want to increase the height because of they use it as like rental property, and but we are that's probably one of the priority areas that we need to start looking at design. We have done some survey out there and are developing, taking plans and whatnot. But so what we had done was just priority work, like at number 8, we definitely had to fix that. We had sheet pile. We drove and footing and basically shored up that seawall that had all that undermining during the 2018 storm. So that finally got done, and cap repair, I think it was a couple hundred linear feet, various spots here and there that we did. So we do maintenance, and that's one of the requirements that FEMA is looking for, is that are you maintaining your seawalls in order to qualify and get reimbursement. So some of this might qualify. FEMA's aware of what we've done to the seawall in this area. They're also aware that we have the revetment to do, and filed for an extension for their through their program to have this completed by the end of June. I've got a proposal from GZA to design, get the permitting done, and they provided a construction support services budget. This will all be done on time and material basis, but we've got a motion with a not to exceed amount of $7,400. I'm not sure exactly what this is going to cost us to actually construct. We'll be working on that. The records show that we have, let me see where that funding total was. It says $813,000. That needs to be verified once we get the accountant in. I think that number's a little high, a lot high. So there may have to be some borrowing as well when we get to the point. We know what the engineer's estimate for the work is. Prices have just skyrocketed, as you know, everything is just going on. I mean, that last job we did was estimated to be 500, and it was like 780 or something like that. So we'll see. But this will be the last amount of work, except for Ocean Bluff, that was damaged during the 2018 Riley storm. So if you want us to move ahead with this, there's a motion to authorize amendment number 1 with GZA to provide the design, prepare the bid documents, and permit this for so the permitting is going to be a little bit more difficult than what we had to do with the seawall crack repairs and cap repairs that we did, because we're going to be in the water. We're going to have to move the rock out of the way to get our equipment down to the areas that need to be repaired. So anytime you're in the water, you may be talking a water quality permit, an Army Corps permit, and Chapter 91, if you're changing the footprint, we're not, but we have to go through their office anyways. They basically will issue a letter basically saying that there's minor modification type letter. But it takes time, and that's a step that we have to go through the permitting. We should be okay with Concom. We meet with them, but we've done a regional permit. All these areas have been listed on a plan, they've seen it, they issued a regional, and at the end, we will record like a partial order of completion, and completion certificate, I think it's called.
Certificate of compliance.
Yeah, something like that. They have a different name for it. But it's like a partial. So we go through Concom, but it's not as rigorous. And I don't think, yeah. We use the regional permit, so that's what we expect to do. And we had just done that on the seawall repairs as well. So we have everything all on a plan. They've already seen it. It'll just be, how we access and just specific information for the work that we're doing with this. So I don't anticipate a huge effort to get the order conditions. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions?
Are you just waiting for the other conditions from Concom?
Well, no, I've got the regional permit, and once we get all our other permits applied for, we will go to Concom with the specifics of this project, and we'll meet with them, but I don't think it's going to be a huge effort. It's not going to be a full notice of intent and all that, but there'll be some, our consultant will be there and explain the work. So there'll be some level of, sometimes a notice of intent, so 100 pages long.
Yeah, no, I understand.
When do you think you'll actually be able to start it?
They have to start it in like April and get done by June. There are 3 different sites. We have immediately in the area where we were, there's 150 some odd feet, 155 feet, I think of it. Piece here, piece there, piece there, in a, let's say, 1,000-foot stretch. Then we jump down to where, remember where Charlie's used to be? Just as you come out of the Esplanade, right there, that little parking lot, across from Faith Jeans. Okay, there's like 400 feet that have to be rebuilt there. It's seawall toe revetment. So it's that stone that just sticks out about 20 or 30 feet and then protects the toe of the seawall from getting scoured. That's all been dislodged, raveled, it's scattered, and it needs to be replaced. That area in particular is in pretty tough shape. There's rock there, but it's not settled. Usually it's tightly packed in there with a capstone to keep it in place. And that you get those huge storms. That's such a high energy area that it constantly gets torn out. We need more footprint, but they won't let us go seaward. So if we had more footprint, we wouldn't have to make it as steep, and we would be able to use larger rock to fit it in. But as it is right now, we're confined to a very narrow footprint, and the stones aren't big enough, and they try to pack it in tight, but as soon as you get one pop smack, they all start going. So that's an area there. There's like 400 feet there, and then where 328 Ocean Street is, when you first come into the Esplanade from the north, traveling south, the 3 houses that were there that would be rebuilt, they're all different military, whatever. So that stretch where we have the mortared revetment, before you get to those 3 houses, we had rock for scour protection in front of a sheet pile that was driven years ago. We did some repairs in 2014. There were sections that the sheet pile had deteriorated and popped out, so we drove the sheet pile back, kind of made a continuous sheet pile wall right in front of the revetment that's there. What was happening is the water would get underneath the rock, and then all the material would suck out. Anytime a wave went in, it would just draw the material out. So this big void started to happen underneath the revetment, and then subsequently under the seawall. So that's a real problem in that area. So, and it's starting to happen in one section. We've got to go back in and look at the condition. But the rock that was in front of that sheet pile has basically got dislodged from the waves and whatnot. So we've got to kind of corral it back in, place it. It's for scour protection. It'll move again, but it takes those big storms like the Riley storm in 2018 to move them. It's something that was identified. It wasn't our highest priority. We targeted the seawall repairs like in Bay Ave, did the Ocean Street, Wrexham Road, did those big repairs. This is the last of the repairs, other than Ocean Bluff, which is a huge project. So this is the third area that would have to be done. It's 300 or 400 feet long. And basically we've got to crawl in there, pull in rock that moved out, repack in front, and maybe bring in some more rock that we might have on hand. I know we've got some Wrexham that they want to take from Wrexham parking lot. We've got some there, we've got some behind the yard that we can use. If we have to, we'll order some, but that'll be part of the bid document. We'll figure out what we have and what we need. So those are the three areas that remain for that. The fourth area, Ocean Bluff, that's in the design phase. We're working with GEI. We filed a E&F. They asked for more information. We gave them information. And they're leaning towards a environmental impact report. They don't like the idea of us going seaward with what we have. That's our recommendation. So we withdrew the application with the idea that we could reapply. And we're going to meet sometime in November with TZM one-on-one and try to get some resolution, see if we can get some movement. They're looking for more information, and we just need to figure out exactly what they're looking for. It might just be they just do not want us going seaward at all. And what that means is that the design that we chose will have to basically go back to what we have, but bring in larger stone. And if we bring in larger stone, then we gotta haul all the stone in that revetment that's 1,800 feet long away. Some of it, if they allow us to increase the footprint a little bit, we can use that as bedding stone, reset it, pull it apart, reset it, and then put the big armor stone, we're looking at 8 tons stones on top of it, because that's what it's going to take. But we will increase the footprint, so it'll be less than what we're asking for now in terms of impact to the seaward, but it still will be some impact. And if we can move in that direction, they can buy into that, then that's probably what we'll end up doing. So we're about halfway through that design phase. They've got all the alternatives, they've got the impacts. It's just a matter of sitting down with them, and I've asked our consultants to schedule a meeting. They're going to outline 3, they're going to present our proposal and show the impacts and kind of outline where we are with our proposal. Then we're going to go to the same exact footprint that we have with armor stone, with the 8-ton size. And then we're gonna have kind of a hybrid between the two where we actually go a little bit seaward and cap everything there so we don't have to haul all the rock out of there. And this is pie in the sky. This is a huge project. It's estimated somewhere in a $30 million range, and the funding for this is, I've already talked with the town administrator, it's not in the foreseeable future for, having this kind of available funding, in their opinion, right now. So we're looking at like 29 before we could even think about it. But that's Ocean Bluff, that's the fourth one. We won't be touching that with this project, so just the first three areas that the last three that we needed to work on. And there is a motion if you are going to authorize this amendment.
I see the motion, but thanks for the update on this, and it's,
That was very interesting.
it's
It
protecting our
just
tax
sounds so
base.
frustrating. You must be just wanting to pull your hair out all the time.
Yeah, well,
I would.
So, you need a motion to move forward. It's protecting our tax base too, it's protecting our roads up in Ocean Bluff, so. It's, whether it's, I remember when it was 20 million, now it's 30 million, so.
and this,
It's probably gonna be 40 million.
this should be FEMA reimbursable,
Yeah,
but
that was 2015, and Nemo, did we ever get any money?
we got like 600,000 for Damon's Point.
But nothing for,
We got, yeah, we've gotten some, I don't
I know, I
don't
remember,
get that
they were
information.
dragging their feet,
Eventually,
FEMA was.
we'll be able to have a list from them, from whoever who's getting the money coming in, but it doesn't come in very fast, that's for sure. But I am working with a FEMA rep, and we talk like every other week. She meets with FEMA every Thursday, I think. So, and she has a list of projects that she follows, and I've sent her copies of the Ocean Bluff study, let's say, because that they're aware that, what we're up against. I mean, I don't think they have an idea of how hard it is for a town to come up with $30 million and then think we're gonna get reimbursed based on their track record. You might see it 5 years down the road.
Right.
So that's a huge nut to crack. But they're the feds, and I don't think they have an idea of how difficult it is to come up with that kind of debt service. So,
But we got a question from Mr. Lynch, go ahead.
Steve Lynch, 50 Central Street.
yeah.
So, no, we're dredging right now, we dredge the Narrows every year, the main channel, the outside channel.
Right.
They're dumping thousands of yards of beautiful sand over in Duxbury Beach. Why haven't we forced them to bring it over there and dump it seaward? Because every time you put those big rocks next to the seawall, all you do is make it a ramp for it to go over it and destroy the
Right.
top of it and the
Well,
road and
It
everything behind
it
it.
does prevent the tow from getting scoured out.
I understand that.
We have to have it, otherwise the seawalls just wouldn't last, especially in the velocity zones.
Well, I gotta tell you this, when I was younger, 30 years ago, when we used to go to Mannix's house for the 4th of July, if you fell off that wall, you got hurt. It was a long way down. And there was no rocks built up against that seawall, and they never had that kind of damage you got until you put the rocks there. But that's another fight anyway. The big thing is, you really need to get on their case about dumping sand, 50 yards out from the seawall on that beach when we're just giving it to Duxbury. Why?
Then we have the nearshore site, and, they have, when the.
I know it's cheaper to dump it there, it's quick and easy, they don't have to make it go around the corner, but, I mean, it's not that much harder, believe me, if you
Well,
go around the corner.
we've met with the regulators. They told us it was a 5-year, at least a 5-year period before we could even consider it with all the environmental study that we had to do. We just went through a 5-year study. We have the permits right now to do Bay Ave.
Yeah. It's all sand out, you know, if you go out 100 yards, it's all sand. I used to go scuba diving there when I was young and dig up sea clams there. It's all sand. So you're just putting sand on sand, but making it higher. So the waves might break a little bit earlier before they get into the beach. And maybe instead of having a rock beach for people to use, it might be sand again.
Right, I mean, I wish we could do that like they do down in Florida, where they pump the sand on the beach annually.
Yeah.
They don't allow that around here, but that's what they should allow. We talked to them
Well, what
about
makes that decision that doesn't allow it?
coastal zone management.
Well, let's tell them to allow it.
Division,
That's not, I wish we could.
That was
Division
covered in
Marine
the beach
Fisheries.
nourishment, the beach nourishment program. They don't allow it.
We can take the stuff out of the narrows, and that's what they do. They take the 13,000, or what is it, 15,000 or something like
Well,
that.
they allow us to dump it at Duxbury Beach, why can't we dump it at Grand Rock Beach?
They've selected one area where they,
Well, that's where I fish my lobster traps, I catch lobsters there. You shouldn't be dumping sand on my
the
lobsters.
well, it's a designated area, and the sand doesn't stay there, it moves quickly. They've reported that, the currents, in that area, and, affect the sand and how long the sand stays there. It's gone quickly.
Oh, yeah.
It just doesn't accumulate.
Well, let's go on to the motion here. Are you all set?
All set, John, thanks.
Okay, so we have a motion. Motion to authorize amendment number 1 to contract 2021-05 with GZA Geo Environmental Inc., Ansbury, Mass. to prepare bid documents, permits, and for construction services for 3 areas requiring revetment, repair, and print rock area along Ocean Street, the amount of not to exceed $77,400 based on time and material, and the chairman or designee is authorized to sign this amendment when the documents are prepared. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Robert. Okay, we have something to sign on that?
So just for Sean to sign it, John.
All right, okay. All right, let's move on now. Now we're at the number 4, transfer station waste oil site fishermen. So, that's yours.
That's me.
Go ahead.
I put that on. So I had a conversation with, email back and forth in the spring. One of the fishermen, member of Marshfield Commercial Fishermen's Association, came to me about this. So I had a email exchange with the previous superintendent in the spring about the waste oil tank, which was closed at the time because it had gotten contaminated or something. Okay, right. And so there's a lot of history there because it apparently used to be at the pier and then it was moved to the transfer station. So nobody really seems to know why or when that actually happened. Do you know? Do you remember?
Briefly, but I know it was moved because it was being policed at the transfer station. Apparently, and I'm not blaming the fishermen at all, because it wasn't them. Other people was dumping things into the container that didn't belong in there. So we had a hazardous situation.
At the pier?
How'd they get in there? I thought it was locked up.
Huh? They can get in anything. This is what I was told.
Okay. Well, we
Well,
got
they didn't have all the
security
security cameras and
Security
everything
cameras,
back then.
No. And then it went to the transfer station, I believe.
Right.
Now,
You don't know when though?
I
Do you
don't.
remember what year? It was a long time ago, pretty memories are
it
gone.
was.
Well,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right, no. Go ahead.
okay.
Hi,
Jim.
I'm Mike Delane, I'm a commercial fisherman down there. When the waste oil tank was at the town pier, it was like an 8-inch chain link fence around it with a padlock on it. So I can't believe anybody's gonna climb over that fence to put anything in that waste.
I don't disagree with you. This is what I was told.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there seems to be a lot of, like, everybody that I've talked to that knows anything about it is kind of like, well, this is what I was told, or this is what I've heard, but not, I don't know, I haven't seen anything, any documentation.
I never heard that it was,
I didn't hear that part. I
That's right.
never heard that. Tom had told me that that happened at the transfer station, that something went in there that didn't belong there, and that's why they closed it. And then they did reopen it after, I don't know how long it was. Hi.
Hi, I'm Bob Tice, I'm a fisherman too. Basically what happened was, when the harbor master put the new building down at the town pier, the tank was where the garage is gonna be on the new harbor master building, so they had to move it. So instead of moving it like 50 yards to the east, they moved it to the transfer station. And I don't know if that grant, when we got it, Jimmy Campbell was the selectman then. It must have been 20 years ago when that tank was put down there. I don't know if it's specific, if it said to leave it at the town pier or it could be moved anywhere in town. I know, I think it was a federal grant that gave us that tank, but somehow it got moved. And, you know, it should be down the pier. That's where it should be. So other people can't put other chemicals into it down at the transfer station. And like Mike said, it had a gate around it and a lock, and we'd have to go in and talk to a harbor master assistant to get the key to dump our oil, and he watched us to make sure it was really oil, you know? So, I really don't know what to say as far as, it kind of got moved in the middle of the night, you know, when nobody was looking. And I don't know who had the authority to move it, or, you know, it could have stayed down the pier, but it didn't, it got moved.
I have a question about the oil. So so you changed the, so I'm going to show my ignorance here. So you changed the oil in the boats.
Yeah, I changed
And
mine,
where do
like,
you do that?
we do it right on board,
Okay,
in the harbor, on my mooring.
all right,
And I'll change mine 3 times a year, so that's 15 gallons of oil.
okay,
That's three 5-gallon buckets of oil.
right.
And I used to just walk it up and dump it in, and everything was cool, you know?
Okay.
Now you gotta take it to the transfer station. And, I don't know if they were taking it all the time, you know, like, you know, he said it was closed for a while.
It was,
And the
it was closed for
The
a
transfer
while.
station schedule is once a month from May to October.
So
So it's the second weekend in the month from May to October, which is pretty inconvenient to, if somebody's storing 15, you know, oil.
yeah, how often do you change?
Three
Like, how many
times a
gallons
year.
do you have in a month that
Well, it's
the average?
basically 3 times a year. And it's 5 gallons each time, my engine holds, so it's 15 gallons. So, you know, that's a lot of oil. And, you know, there's probably, how many mornings are there, Steve? Is it 50?
There's more than that.
Yeah, so, you know, and plus, there's guys from out of town. I can name 6 guys right now who are from out of town, and I don't know what they're doing with their oil. You know, they change it on their boat, and they used to just take it up and dump it in our thing, so I have no idea where they're taking their oil now. They're probably bringing it back to the towns where they live. So, you know, this is certainly worthy of discussion to, you know, to see what happened and why it ended up at the transfer station.
Mike, go ahead.
I brought this issue up at the Waterways meeting a month or so ago. I went to the transfer station with oil, and I didn't say I was a commercial fisherman. And they said, come back the second Saturday of the month. Through the grapevine, I heard that it was open to commercial fishermen anytime. So I went back during the week, said I was a commercial fisherman. They said, go in and dump it in the container that was granted to us by another market, I believe. And everything was fine. It was a lot easier down the town pier. And that container was granted to us, I think, for free. for either boating interest or commercial fishermen interest. And it works, we basically have a short season now, and a lot of times you just don't have time to get to the town transfer station. Whereas one of the town pier, the harbor master's on duty till midnight, or the assistants are there. So it's much easier to dispose of the oil. And if it's not easy to dispose of the oil, it'll build up someplace, and it causes more troubles, I believe. Anyhow, so if we could move it back to the town pier, there'd be many more hours we could get at it, and also it would be much more convenient to us trying to get to the town transfer station before 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right there, Mr. Lynch.
So I just have a question for whoever runs the show at the transfer station. So you're allowing non-fishermen to dump their old oil into that container once a month?
Not that I know of.
No.
Only
There's-
fishermen?
There's 2 containers there, I think.
Is it?
I think there's 2.
So the container that was granted to us by Ed Markey's was granted for the use of boaters and commercial fishermen only, and that's the policy you have right now at the transfer station? Or you're letting other people put oil in there?
I had to find out, I only got back in 3 weeks, so
I haven't
I have
heard
to
that.
get back to speed on this.
No, I believe they have the fishermen dump in the fisherman tank and the other ones for residents.
Yeah, and they should be able to come in when they want.
Yes.
So there was a limit on it. There was a limit on, so it went from being closed, because it was contaminated, that was in June, according to my
Yeah,
emails.
the only reason why it was closed was because we went to pump it out, and they wouldn't take it.
Yeah, because there was something that was in there.
They
So I
had to
don't,
test it, and then they said there was something in it, so then we had to find another disposal
Is that
site.
Clean Harbors will take it?
Yeah, they ended up taking it, I mean, they
Yeah,
got rid of
they'll-
it, but it just
they'll-
took a little while to
it
get
took
figured
some
out.
time,
Yeah.
right?
They'll refine it, and you'll see it for sale in Walmart. Why not?
Don't change your car oil with it.
I mean, that's what they do with it.
Yeah. So so then it got opened back up again, but not every day. So what is the schedule right now? Because the fishermen that I've spoken to are under the impression that it's not open every day.
Yeah, I don't
For
know,
fishermen.
it sounds like we have people in the audience who are seeing it differently too, so I don't know what it is.
So what is it?
So you don't know what the schedule is?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I did put it on. So I put this on as a discussion and an action item. So seeing that we don't know, can we just go to a vote on that?
Yeah, I'm with you on the vote, but I'd like to know, what about the residents? I mean, can the residents bring, I mean, we have people that bring in oil too.
Yeah, I take my oil back to the store, so I don't know, but I'm not sure exactly what the
Well,
hours are.
Residents and.
I mean, I want to know more about that because I don't know anything about that tank. I put this on for the fisherman issue. I know that residents can take oil, I know that people can take oil back to the place where they bought it. But for the fishermen, that's really not, you know, a good option at all. But if somebody's changing the oil in their car or their lawnmower or whatever, then, you know, I mean, we could definitely discuss that at a different time, but I don't want to lump it in with this issue.
Sean, go ahead.
If the tank of a fisherman is at the transfer station, they should have access to it days that the transfer station is open.
Right.
That's a whole different ballgame. As far as waste oil, household residents and so forth, that's gonna be monitored closely. I can see them doing that on certain days. But the fishermen bring in a 5-gallon pail, and they dump the oil, and they've been very good about it. They should be able to dump the oil.
All right, so we make that motion, but
That's
then,
fair?
I'd like to talk about seeing if we can get it back to the pier.
That's some kind of discussion I may have to have with the harbor master.
Right,
Well,
so
well,
I
well,
have a little
well,
information on that though. Okay.
Can we also address it with Cantwell, with Markey, if it was a grant?
Oh, I can ask Jim.
You know, if they're talking about a grant, a federal grant or something, that would keep it at the, you know what you're gonna get from maybe the harbor master. But that's just my.
You never know.
You never know, you can get along with them. Go ahead, Diane, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Go ahead.
Well, I was told from a few different people, including Tom, that the situation was when the harbor master's building was built, conservation said that the oil tank, the oil container, what's it called? What's your like official thing for it? Well, anyway,
Disposal.
it's a container. So it couldn't be at the pier. According to what Tom said in his email and what I've been told by a couple different people, the story is that conservation said it couldn't be there and it had to go to the transfer station. So I went to conservation today and got the plans for the harbor master building. There's nothing in this about, that says anything about an oil container not being able to be there. It says, don't wash vehicles and equipment in a location where when we're cleaning water, oil, fuel, and grease can drain into a wetland and resource area. It's the only thing it says about oil in that whole order of conditions from conservation. So I don't think it's a conservation issue, you know. So however it got moved, I think you're right, that it's probably in the grant.
Yep.
That it should be accessible to the fishermen. There's definitely some fishermen that don't have a transfer station stick because they're not even Marshfield residents.
Well, let's just open it up every day for the fishermen.
And then take on the rest of
these
it.
other issues, Sean can take it up with,
Yeah.
through the staff, with Cantwell and Markey, find out about the federal grant, find out about, we already took care of conservation. So I think,
Conservation has no record of it being
So-
ordered to go to the transfer station.
in the meantime, you'll be able to go to the transfer
I'm sure it was
station.
Earl from the last guy that was there.
Yeah, there's no record on file of
Could be a
that.
flood issue.
All right, let's make a
That seems
motion.
to be the next
Okay, so,
permit.
We'll make a motion to open the transfer station.
do you have a question?
So if there's no letter of, if it's not in the letter of conditions that by conservation that it had to be moved, then somebody else gave that order, right? And so obviously, it can be rescinded.
I mean, it was like 20, whatever, not 20 years ago, like, how many years ago was the building completed, 7 years ago?
Yeah, it's at least 7 years, yeah.
Yeah, so, if they give order of conditions in writing for a reason. So if it's not there,
It's
it's
not
just
in
a
there.
made-up story, conservation had nothing to do with it. So it's moved for convenience. So I say, it doesn't matter what the grant says, we should move it back to the town pier.
I mean, so is somebody willing to do that, like in the middle of the night, like they moved to the house? No, I'm kidding, like,
It all
you can't just do
it
that.
happened real fast, you know? The
Can't
thing
just
was
do
just
that.
gone one day.
I will
Does
look
the
into it.
DPW have any record of it being moved in to the transfer station?
No,
I can't remember.
I don't think so. I think it got moved.
Well, they did move it during construction, you can be sure. When they constructed the new harbor master
Yeah, he got rid
building,
of
it was in the way, so they got it, that's where they moved it to. It was probably a temporary move,
Right,
and now it should be moved back to
Correct.
its location next to the trash container at the town pier.
I'm not sure who the proper person to talk to about it is, the select board, but it's not, I don't think it's the harbor master.
I gotta start there. I'll start with him.
I guess you could start with him.
let's make a
Because
motion to
we
get,
talked about it way back when.
let's
Oh.
let's get this.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to open up the oil receptacle for the fishermen at the transfer station
When the transfer
during
station.
transfer station hours.
Second.
Second, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, there you go.
Thank you.
Now we'll work on getting it back to the pier. Okay?
Step two.
Thank you. Okay.
I have some ideas.
They're not the middle of the night option? I mean, I feel like it's costing the DPW time and resources and everything to have it where it should be. And, you know, I don't agree with this department doing work for free for other departments in town, or, you know, whatever. I'm not gonna.
No, be quiet. You'll take care of that, I'll tell you.
Sean is on it. He's on it. All right, so.
That's why, that will take care of it. Okay, the superintendent's report.
All right. So, like I said earlier, I've been here 3 weeks, going on 4. Probably never left. We buttoned up Old Main Street and Ferry Street, got the paving done, just gonna finish up the line painting and the driveway aprons. We're in the middle of fall cleanups with the cemeteries and the town commons. Trying to get that wrapped up before the snow flies. We're finishing up some odds and ends in this building. We gotta shut the building down for a couple of days, this Thursday and Friday, to do a transfer switch for the generator. So we gotta shut the power off, put the switch in, adjust the generator, put it on the low for about 4 or 5 hours, and put the power back on. It's an all-day thing. Still waiting for the lifts, the EM part of the garage, so we get moving there. We started the gravel roads this week,
Okay.
and we're in the middle of that snow and ice project. That's right around the corner.
Did you get Bluefish Cove?
Next week. I'm doing all of it.
Have you seen the woolly caterpillars? Because they say it's going to be a bad winter. Have you seen them?
What's the brown? I've seen two.
It could be so.
I have a question about, what was my question?
Something I said tonight,
Just now.
the transfer switch.
Oh, the generator. Yeah, the generator. When you said about the generator, is this building going to be accessible to like a warming station or anything like power station or anything like if in a major emergency?
No, I live at the police station once.
No, okay. Just curious, because it's another building that's new.
It is, but it's a big crew that comes in here.
Yeah, that's true, they're in and out.
Are you all set?
I am.
Okay. Any questions? All right, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting of the Board of Public Works for November 13, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sean.